try different things out. But at the end of the day, the more you can stack on a list, more pain points, the better. So
Yep. So is that where you're getting most of your lists from, Michael? Is that where you're getting all your lists?
yeah, that's where I get all my lists.
All right, cool. Nice.
All my lists straight from PropStream. So
I don't know if you guys need any inspiration or not, but I got a 34K wholesale closing Friday.
wow, congrats, guy.
You want to loan me some money?
Yeah, man.
I saw the new
Yeah.
Ford.
It's a new you.
So
New.
you gotta tell us about the deal now, Kevin. Or
Yeah.
give us the deal breakdown.
I had texted like vacant, absentee owner list like January, ran the appointment. They were stuck at 45. I was at like 18. We kind of went back and forth. They called or text me back like, it went cold. I sent them an offer in like January and it just went cold. And I didn't bug them. I knew they were kind of going through some stuff or whatever. She got back with me on Mother's Day and said that they were ready to deal a little bit. They just went through COVID, lost a couple family members, shit kind of hit the fan, and they were ready to deal. So we ended up, they were in Davison, actually. The house is here in Port Huron. Beautiful spot, best river view in Port Huron, honestly, for a house that's not actually on the river. But it was the old captain's quarters for this bean dock down there. It's like just built like, it's just the best built old place ever. It's gutted, but it's a really good house. And shit, man, I had my buddy list it for like, I got it for 33 under contract, and we listed it for 69 and got a cash 67 offer. The listing thing is a pain in the ass.
But that's the power of listing. You wouldn't have got 60, whatever, 9.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yep.
If you were going to wholesale that one, you would have got 36.
Right. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's one thing you got to think about. Find someone that has a little bit of money so you could take those deals down. Like Kevin, if you didn't have the money to buy that, did you buy it or did you?
I'm going to have to, because my realtor and my title company, as many times I talked to them blue in the face about that, I'm not selling the house, I'm selling the contract. There's a barrier of learning there between everyone. So now I do have to double close it come Friday.
Okay.
To actually do
able to list it without buying it.
Right. Yes. But I know the broker also, and I went through him before I talked to my buddy works for that brokerage, but I know the owner also. So I kind of, he's been a buyer for me too a few times. So I kind of, ran it across him real quick and said, well, hey, what do you think about me listing one of these wholesales? And he's like, well, I don't think there's a problem. I said, all right, well, I'm going to let Chris list it then.
So why didn't you pick the title company?
I did. It's who I've been using, and I know them well, and I've worked with them on probably 6 or 8 deals, and they've all been crazy, and I've been teaching them, so they're patient with me. It's just not been perfect.
Yeah.
They're so used to the conventional stuff, right? Like they're blown away by all of this. They're just blown away.
Well, finding.
Sounds like you should
start looking.
Yeah,
I'm about to say you should, because it shouldn't be that big of a, like, because we've sold multiple properties on the MLS, listed them, and it's not, it shouldn't be that big of a deal, especially with the title company that knows what they're doing. So, but
well, it was kind of part
of, sounds like,
it was kind of part of my realtor's fault a little bit too. And, there's such a blockage there, but I'm like, dude, I don't know why I'm signing a purchase agreement right now, because I don't own the damn house. You know what I mean? It should have just been the assignment right there. But since I signed the purchase agreement, I don't know. It's this far along. We're 2 days away. I'm just going to double close it.
Yeah, double close it. That's great. I mean, you just don't want to lose deals over it, and it don't look like you're losing it. I'm closing one tomorrow that came from an agent in Warren. They wanted 25 grand for it. Okay. And the agent knew, you know, said before he lists it, he's got to get 25 grand. That's the one, if you see one of the videos on my Facebook page, it smelled really bad. It
I
was
saw it.
nasty. I sold it for $40,000. Okay. So 15 grand assignment fee. And we had to use, it was, I didn't have a choice. The agent had to use their title company. And they had to close in 5 days. So I showed them the proof of funds. I had to put down a $2,500 EMD. And then I asked the agent, I said, is it okay if I assign it to one of my buyers, you know, that I've used, and, you know, we do business, a lot of business together. He said, yes, it's okay. So then I sent it to his title company, and they were clueless. I explained exactly what I was doing. Look, here's my assignment agreement. I'm assigning it to him for 15 grand. And, you know, he's going to pay me 15,000. I called it a marketing / assignment fee. She goes, I never did any of one of those before. Let me check and this and that. Well, anyways, long story short, they drew up their own assignment agreement and made us sign it. And everything was fine. I could have double closed it, but I didn't really want to.
Now, one thing is there any way to hide that assignment fee from the actual seller on a normal assignment?
Yeah, if you're using a normal title company that works with wholesalers.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so what I do, just so you know, they have two statements, a seller statement and a buyer statement. The buyer statement shows the assignment fee. So 99% of my deals, the buyer doesn't even go to closing, they e-sign. Okay, seller goes to closing, the buyer e-signs that morning, wires their money, and then the seller goes to closing at 1 o'clock. The money, everything funded, they sign their docs, it's gone. I never go to closings ever, you know, so, and that's how I do it. You know, I don't want my buyers to go in there and sign the documents and things like that.
Gotcha. Well, I might have to talk to you on the next one and get tuned up on that a bit before I go smashing my face off the pavement anymore.
It's fun.
Quick question, Kevin.
Yeah.
When you were doing the texting, when you skip trace these people or whatever, a lot of times you get 6 numbers. How do you what number did you text? The first one, or do you do them all, or what?
Oh, brother, let me tell you, that spreadsheet shit and trying to navigate just the mobile numbers into the first phone category and getting it lined up to go into the CRM and all that. It was a freaking nightmare, dude. There was smoke coming out of our ears for like weeks trying to figure that out. And that's why I kind of abandoned it. And I'm kind of glad all this TCPA BS is happening. That's kind of stopping it, because it just takes it right off my plate. I don't even have to think. It seems like it would have been great for somebody a little more savvy with that stuff, but it was not easy at all. I almost think like the data management on that texting, I would need a whole class on that myself, or somebody on my team or something, because I don't know. It's tough. I had a hard time.
Okay, appreciate that. And Mike, Heather, with the skip with us, let me see, what did I have written down?
Skip with us.
Do they have do they give emails too? And what percentage of the people do you actually get in contact with? You know, as far as, you know, reaching or whatever.
Yeah, so yeah, I did see your question in the chat, so I'm glad you brought it up. Yes, you get emails. I'll be honest with you, I don't really do much with the emails. I don't really do email marketing or anything like that. It is good to have though, because if you're talking with a seller, you know, you get to the point of signing the purchase agreement, you can say, all right, I just want to confirm with you real quick. I got your email. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong, just like anything else. And then as far as answers go, and see, that's the thing about it is that's why I switched to them and from batch is I get anywhere between a 36 to 40, 45, 46 like answer rate. So that kind of gives you an idea of how many people are at least answering the phones. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how to track if if who answers is the right person or not, but you are at least getting the people on the phones. And I haven't really seen any difference between when I was using batch versus when I started using them as far as the amount of deals that I was able to get from cold calling. So it's felt like to me very comparable data is what I'm saying. So I hope that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, you give them a shot. You can kind of compare apples to apples. If you got a list from batch or whoever, and you get one from them, and you can kind of see, maybe if you have more success with one or the other, or how they stack up against each other.
Cool.
Man, guys, I appreciate you doing this Zoom. I really dig this big time.
Awesome. For sure.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
Hey, Chris,
Well,
what's up, man? Chris Martin, what's going on, man? You all right?
Yeah, just hanging out listening. Sounds like Kevin needs a new title company.
Yeah.
Are you local, Kevin? Where are you at?
I'm in Port Huron.
Oh, yeah, use like Michigan investment title. That's who I use normally.
Okay.
So
I've never even heard of them.
They're out of Romeo, but they will come to you or to your seller or anywhere in the state of Michigan. And they do assignments, double closes, novations, everything.
Yeah.
So right on. Can somebody explain the novation at all? If you guys are ready to go, we can do that next week or something.
No,
I've been dying to know what this novation stuff is about. If anybody can enlighten me.
I'm not 100% sure on it. I got paperwork for it. Like I got assignment or a novation agreement, but I haven't done one yet. But it's my understanding that it's like I would basically use it if I wanted to sell to a retail buyer, like wholesale to a retail buyer that's getting financing or something like that, where you have time with the seller. And so it's basically an agreement that states that the seller and your buyer will come together and form a new agreement, and that you'll be paid out a novation agreement. So you're basically taking yourself out of the equation with a fee still.
I see. I got you.
So they're replacing like your contract with another contract or your agreement with another agreement.
Yeah, and it's like I would do that with if you had a retail buyer that's getting financing or something, because no bank financing is going to touch an assignment.
Mm-hmm.
They won't do it.
Yeah. Good.
I actually did one, and it was kind of a nightmare, but I had to get creative to put them two together. It's probably the same thing, honestly, but it was kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, but once you do it 3 or 4 times, the nightmare goes away.
Sure. Right.
Yeah. It's always going to be a nightmare in the first, and then you say, oh, okay, just like you use that title company, you're either going to train them or, you should tell them I'm going to a different title company next time, unless you want me to sit down with you and, bring you my business, but you got to do it. And if you don't do it this way, I understand. You got to do it what's best for you, but
sure.
So,
Chris, could you put that title company in the chat for me, buddy?
Yeah. I don't have their. Well, I'm sure I have their.
Or
phone.
just the name. I can find them.
Yeah, they're definitely. You got it, Chris?
Yeah.
All right. I'll tell you guys a couple of things that I did a couple rentals or we could call them land contracts. So if you're talking to a seller and it's a house you want, and you want to do a, create a financing type deal. Like I got a house in Detroit this weekend and it was a 20,000. The guy wanted 20,000. I know the guy, I know it's a great house. I could wholesale it 30,000 all day long. Easy. Okay. But I want to, I got to start collecting some rental properties. So I went to him. I said, look, I'll pay 20, If I pay 20, will you do seller financing? Okay. And I'm going to give you two scenarios. This one was really easy. He said, absolutely. He wants out of this. And I said, look, I'll pay you 5,000. I'll pay you 20 grand for it. So I'll give you instead of paying you monthly, every month, you got to worry if I'm going to pay you and not pay you and things like that. I'll give you 5,000 up front for the first year. And then the second year, I'll give you I'll pay you 5,000 every year for 4 years, 4 times. And it's really 3 years, right? Because I'm paying them 5 up front. So it works out great for me because I get financing. I got put 5 grand down. I take control of the property, blah, 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 0% interest. At the end of the day, I get it rented for $950 a month, get it city certified. I got a nice little rental. All right. So let me give you a scenario. If you're talking to a seller, let's say it's a nice property and they want 50 grand, and it might be a good property for 50. And so I met this guy, he wanted 50 grand, and I'm like, you know, I would buy it for 50,000, no problem. I'll give you cash. He was an older gentleman, so I didn't want to do a land contract for 10. It's free and clear. I didn't want to do a land contract for 10 years or 15 years or anything like that, because this guy was 76, 77 years old. And he really didn't need the money. So I said to him, I said, look, or I could pay you 60,000 and I'll give you 10,000 up front. Okay. And then I'll give you another 10,000 for the first year. So it's costing me 20 grand, and I'll pay you 10,000 every year until, you know, for 5, you know, 6 payments, but every year, you know, for 5 years pretty much. And it really appealed to him, because if I told him I'll give you 10,000 down and I'll pay you 533 a month for 5 years or whatever that number would be, that's not appealing, because he's got to worry if I'm going to pay him, if I'm not going to pay him, and things like that. So I'm telling him it's just a different, I'm messing with, or I don't want to say tricking their mind, but I'm trying to make it easy for them. Say, look, I'll give you 10 down and I'll give you the first year up front of 10,000. And the next year I'll give you 10,000. I'll pay all the taxes. I'll pay all the insurance. I handle everything. You don't have to worry. And I will talk about this deal once I lock it in. It is freaking unbelievable when I tell you about it, but I can't do
The
it.
20,000 or the 50,000?
Well, it's going to be 60,000. Yeah, where I'm putting 20 grand down, you know, to get.
I like that.
But wait till you see this deal. It is gold. I mean, if you could get one of these a year, I'll be excited. You know.
What
I
kind
have
of
a question.
What kind
Oh,
of?
sorry, Eddie. Go ahead, Eddie. Go ahead.
Oh, no,
Eddie.
real quick. What kind of instrument are you using to secure whatever?
I would use a land contract.
Okay.
Yep, I would use a land contract. I would draw it up so it would be my favorable land contract for me, you know, things like that. But in my mind, I don't need anything, because I'm not gonna put 20 grand down and not make that payment, you know. I mean, I need something so I could, you know, make sure I have, you know, I'm protected. But yeah, that would be a land contract, because because it's free and clear. Next time, if he had a mortgage, and we'd do the same way. Look, I'll pay your mortgage payment. You don't have to worry. I'm going to pay it up for a year. You know what I mean? Say something like that. Now they don't have to worry, because people, that is what in my mind, that's what messes them up a little bit, is you're going to take over my mortgage and you're going to pay it every year. So I'll tell them, look, I'll pay it 3 months in advance, and then I'll pay it every month. So it's always going to be 3 months in advance. You never have to worry. You're going to get, you know, we'll use a different servicing company. So you'll get an email. I'll get an email every time the payment's made. So you got to try to make it as mentally free as possible, you know, where they don't worry and they don't have to think about it. Because in their mind, just like I think Pace does, they do this some type of deed, a reverter deed, or I forget what they call it. I think it's a reverter deed. where if you miss a
Performance deed.
payment, what's that?
Performance deed.
Yeah, performance deed, that's it. If you miss a payment, it goes right back to them. They don't have to foreclose or anything like that. So that's a good way of showing that you mean business, you know, you mean business for sure.
So when
Hey,
you do a land contract, are you getting the title switched over and doing all that, or is it just a contract written up by a lawyer,
No,
or whoever?
It's written up by me. Yeah. A lot of title companies have land contracts they could do. No, you do not. You will file a property transfer affidavit,
Okay,
and some people record a memorandum of land contract. If I was doing a land contract to you, Randy, I would not allow you to record that memorandum of land contract. Okay? I wouldn't do it personally, but if you're doing one with me, I'm recording a memorandum of land contract.
So does that give
What's
you
the-
rights to depreciate then? If you're like, you're on title, you can still
Yeah,
depreciate it?
they're the bank. It's just
Okay.
like getting a loan somewhere, but they're the bank. you
Right
know,
on.
Or I'm the bank or whoever is holding the land contract, so. And you gotta talk to your tax guy, because that is not, that's not my pay grade at all.
I get it.
Yeah.
You don't get, if it's a rental, you don't get the depreciation on the property if it's in a land contract, because you're not holding the title. So land contract, you're not holding the title, but if it's a seller finance, then you are. That's the difference.
and
What
so with seller
about-
financing, you would go through title and they would just become the bank and have a lien on it, right?
The seller would get a note and a mortgage, and you would get the
Right.
deed. Yeah.
Okay.
Land contract is they keep the deed. Hey, one thing, Todd, what's that guy's name? One of the local lawyers or something. He was saying that you
Frank
could,
Alcini?
no, I think it was,
Okay, gotcha.
I can't remember his name. It wasn't Frank. But he was saying that you could get that he would be the third party that would hold the deed, and the seller would pre-sign the deed.
Yeah.
So
that's-
that way, then get a servicing company in between, and then that way there's no issues.
Yeah, that's a good way of doing
know,
it. And then
you
maybe
gotta
they'll
track
hold
this
maybe they'll hold a performance deed or whatever also, both ways. Kind of.
Well, yeah, probably. I mean, if you got a performance deed, you would be doing seller finance, not land contract.
Oh, I mean, or a deed back to them, like if you fuck up, they don't have to take you to court. They could just, you already signed an agreement that, because if you get a land contract and you don't pay it, if you know,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
if you know how to do it, you can freaking not pay for 6 months at a time. Trust me, I know this for a fact,
Right.
because I had someone do this to me. By the time you take them to court, they're 3 months behind or 4 months behind. And then by the time it goes to court, all they got to do is catch up what you filed, and it took so much longer. And then they catch it up, and then they fall behind again. And then you got to take them to court, and it's a whole history or whole game of it. So
Yeah, I don't think I would sell on land contract. I would do like maybe a lease option or something, but I don't think I'd sell on land contract.
yeah,
Sounds
yeah,
like I'd buy them on land contract all day long, but
yeah,
not sell 'em.
right. Then a lease options, the only thing, like if you were doing a lease option, Chris, the only thing is that they don't get the person buying it still pays higher taxes, right? Because you don't get the homestead. And then you got to do the city inspections and things like that, but
Yeah.
it's okay. If a seller, I mean, you're the seller and you're making, they're paying for it. So, that's the only things about that, but yeah, lease
Well,
option
to me,
better
it's
for
like-
you.
Yeah, I mean, I already have rentals, so if I lease option my rental, I mean, what are the chances that they're actually gonna exercise the option to buy? You know,
That's what,
get it inst-
that's what they're supposed to
you
do,
know,
but
instead of a one and
yeah,
a half.
unfortunately,
Yeah, instead of a 1.5 month security deposit, you can get a larger, option fee,
10 grand,
and
whatever.
then
Yeah,
still might get the house back.
yep, 100%. Yeah, for sure.
I got a 75% chance that they won't exercise the option.
Plus, I think the option can be for more than today's value also. Like you could do like
Yeah.
5 years down the road appreciation type value on that too.
Ken, yeah. So I bought
Exactly.
a house in Flint last week, and next week let's talk about it, or the week after, depending on when I sell it. I paid 7 grand for it plus closing costs. So I'm about in it for about 8 grand. And I'm gonna list it on the MLS this week for 16.5. It's not a killer deal, right? But I'm gonna hold it or do a land contract at 22.5 at 11%. For 4 years, the payment's like 385 or something like that. And 8,000 down. So I get my money back pretty much, So I'll let you know how it goes. It's kind of I don't think it's risky because I could break even pretty easily, but I'm testing the waters to see how it works.
Yeah, we actually, my cashew property, that was the problem with, so the person I was talking to, actually, they were the land contract holder. And they were trying to sell the property, saying that they were the owner. And
They can sell you the
You can-
property, Randy, or assign it to you,
well, they were in default of their contract. And
then you gotta
so,
get it up to date or something,
yeah, well, they didn't tell me they were the leaseholder. I found out later on, and she just ghosted me basically. So, but I did find out who is the owner, and unfortunately, they said they have a court date and they can't do anything until 90 days after that court date will be the judgment. So,
What you could do is find out what the judgment is and how much behind they are. You might be able to step in. They could assign it to you. You could come into court and catch it up to date. Now, now it's yours pretty much. But
yeah,
if it's worth it,
so
I don't know the property.
it's that Fireburn one property.
Forget it.
Yeah, but I had it sold. But it is what it is. I'm just keeping it up to date, and hey, if they want to sell afterwards, I'll give them a price. And
Yeah, follow up with them. It's a fire.
Yep.
They'll probably give it to you.
yeah, so
Yeah.
but yeah,
All right, gents. Appreciate you guys tonight. Thank you. Michael, are you still there, brother?
Yes, sir. Thanks everyone for joining.
Yep.
It's always good to have you guys.
For sure. All right, next week, I want you guys to have at least 5 deals closed by next Wednesday. All right.
Done.
Cool. All right, guys.
Thanks very much, guys.
Yep.
thanks. Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Bye, guys.